Hi everybody. In today's video, we are going to be doing a serial recovery of the Dynalink router. Now, before we get started, we definitely need to talk about a few things first, namely the cords to use or the USB devices. Now, it took me about 3 weeks to get this to work as I kept having issues with the USB device I was using. So in my video description, you should see two separate sets of devices that you can buy that I have used. Now, the first set I had used had actually worked, but because I didn't know what I know now about the invisible terminal commands you had to execute without seeing them, I had ended up returning those cords thinking that they didn't work as I was reading some posts on the OpenWart forum, and that's what they were saying. I wanted to include it here because this particular set was by far the easiest for me to use when connecting the computer to the serial port. All you needed to do was remove these plastic casings on the wire of this cord, and then on this other cord here, you needed to completely remove this plastic end and then feed the wires from the first cord into this small white plastic piece, as this clip is a perfect fit for the serial terminal on this router. Because just keep in mind that the serial port on the router apparently isn't like some standard spacing, so like none of these is gonna like fit perfectly at all. You will have to do some modifications, which are going to be easy, and I'm gonna show you how. Also, be sure that you are not using the wire that supplies power for this, as a lot of people have concerns about frying your motherboard. Plus, it's much easier for us to just use the power supply for the router when you get to the terminal anyway. Now in this video, we had to use the second set of the USB devices in our video description, which is this little USB device with the pluggable wires. This was convenient because they say that some manufacturers apparently have their wires set up incorrectly. So that's why later on in the video, you will see me tell you that you might have to try swapping the TX and the RX wires on your device before you might actually start seeing output. So keep that in mind. So now the very first step is for us to prepare the wires. So look, you will absolutely need something very thin, in order to do any of this. If you happen to have something like this, which is those little pins that they have in your cell phone stuff or a SIM card box to help you pop the SIM card tray in a phone, these are perfect. Otherwise, try to find like a strong paper clip or maybe even an earring that will let you remove the plastic casing on the wire. They're really easy to kind of just pop. So here you can see me looking at the plastic molding, and what I do is simply slide the metal in that gap to create the space between the wire nook and the plastic shell, as the plastic has a little movable plastic flap that catches the groove or a bump on the wire to keep the wire from sliding out. I then grab both the metal piece and the wire and try to pull it out. Sometimes if you end up taking the metal out first, you can just gently tug on the wire to finish sliding it out. But there you go. The important thing is that you need to leave the plastic molding on whichever wire is going to be in the middle wire and take it off for the other two. Later on in this video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And now finally, the last thing you're going to need to do is install PuTTY on your computer. Now, if you already have a different program you use for serial communications and you know how to set it up, then by all means use that. But for us regular folks, you can just use PuTTY and set it up just like how I have it. Just pay attention to this part right here, because you will need to open up Device Manager on your computer and go to the port section right here and see what COM number you have for that USB device that you have plugged up to the computer, the serial device, right? You don't need to do it this very second. You can save the rest of the information in PuTTY and then let this be the last thing you do once you get to this part in the actual video. But going back to PuTTY, please click on the serial section in the bottom left side here of the menu and then fill out what you see on the screen, remembering that the COM number will be different for you once you plug up the device and check. Finally, go back to the session section in PuTTY and then select the default settings and hit save. This will save you a lot of time, as you may want to close and open PuTTY up from time to time. Sometimes when you need to like try and start over and you don't want to have to redo everything. And then just to reiterate again, right, that COM number is going to be different and it can be changed later, right? If you don't want to just plug up the device right this very instant, you just want to go through the video real quick. All right, now that you have everything set up, it's now time to get started, starting with taking this router apart. All right, it's been what, 2 weeks now still trying to get this router to be fixed, and it's just because we just don't have the right I don't even know what to call it, but we just got our little Amazon package, and boom, right? We ordered this time now because we tried two and neither one of them worked. So now we have 3 different ones that we're going to try and roll through here and see if we can get any of these to work, right? So just to kind of a recap, right? You are going to need to take your router apart. I just realized I deleted the video of me originally disassembling, which I meant to keep. But essentially, you have the router, right? If you recognize that, this is the router. At the bottom, right, you'll have these little the little white things, right, that actually covers the screws. Once you unscrew it, it literally just slides out, and then you'll get that right here. And then yeah, and then like this will be like fastened really tight to this whole contraption here. You are going to need to like pop it out. Be careful with it, but you are going to need to pop it out so that you can then actually get to the screws on the motherboard. The motherboard has 4 screws in each corner onto this this inner encasing or inner closure. So yeah, just you'll do that, and then yeah, once you unscrew it all up, you can get to the little prong or tag thing, whatever it's called, which is this right here. So and then one last thing to note is that apparently, like the photo on the Wikipedia, which I'll throw up in the video, right? The RX and the TX are actually flipped on the cord you're using, right? So just keep that in mind, that you can try it the way that the photo like showed you, but also if it doesn't work, try it the other way. That's how I was able to get one other cord to work, but it wouldn't work all the way. It stopped like midway for whatever reason. But yeah, that's that for this. Now let's go ahead and see if we can get the computer going with it. All right, guys, just like I was saying earlier in the video, right, this right here, this is the screen that you are going to see, that you will likely see, right, if everything works as it should, and it stops right here at this moment, right? So later on, I'm going to show you guys the command you put in, because even though it's frozen right here, it's actually working as intended. There's a set of commands that you have to type in blindly. You're not going to see no feedback when you type it in for it to eventually start outputting the rest of stuff and for it to work. But I really want to show you guys just this segment because I want to show you like this frozen screen, because this is the only like clip I'm gonna have of it, as well as how I have the wires. Because if you go bare bones and you have the wires outside of their like plastic encasing, so where like they're just kind of like free moving, my god, are you going to be like messing around with those for a good minute until you can get the pins to touch the wires just right for you to even get to this point. But like I said, hopefully maybe you try the other method that I mentioned before, where like I had used these original cords and didn't even know. I got the same screen with what I did originally, but I didn't know that the cord the cord was good, that you just need to type in commands that you can't see. Because I was reading posts and they said that there was some other cords that you get that you know would work, because you wouldn't have to go through that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and continue now with the video. Alright, it was still giving me a lot of trouble, so I just went ahead and just flipped the wires. So, alright, now my ground is still the orange, but the yellow is RXD and the green is TXD. And what that should translate now onto this here is, well, let me flip you around like so, right? Is that now this should go just like this, where I got ground on the left here, yellow with the little black piece right there in the middle, and then the green wire, which is going to be all on the right. So let me go ahead and put that in real quick. All right, I just got it in. Like I said, with the metal, with the if you keep the black piece in the middle, it's a little bit easier to wiggle those wires in. They should relatively stay secure, more or less, right? And yeah, all right, cool. So that's all nice and plugged up. And so now we're going to go ahead and go back to this. Since I did unplug the USB device, that's why this happened. So you do need to redo the console. Since we hit save on it, it should just have our settings back. Yep, see, COM6 with the stuff there. And I already had this already in. So cool, all that's all good. Let's go ahead, open her back up. Cool, we get the terminal. Okay. And I don't see the other lights, but okay, well, let's see what happens, right? All right, I'm plugging up the router. All right, router's plugged up. And all right, see, there you go, right? Get all of that action there. All right, guys, we are back on the desktop here, and we are now going to go ahead and start finishing off the recovery, right? So if you remember on the OpenWort website, right, it has these commands you run once you finally get to the terminal: USB start, FAT load, blah blah blah, right? Now, if you was following like my other videos, you know that I also have a I did things just slightly different for the file name, just to make that a little bit easier. My file name is just called Recovery.itb, right? Which is what I recommend, because you know, this would be much easier to deal with here. So there we go, Recovery.itb. And all right, let's go ahead and, oh yeah, this is this putty thing, so I'm not even going to try to paste nothing. I'm gonna just type it in straight as it is. So USB start, right, and then FAT load USB 0:1, and then oof, how many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 6 zeros. And then recover.itb. And what I'm gonna do is, because I'm just like not all that sure, I'm gonna plug up my USB device in my other computer right next to me real quick, just so I can do it. And that's what I thought. I have recovery.itb. See, this is why I'm telling you, this is why it never hurts to double check. I was like, hold on, I'm pretty sure I said recovery. And now let's go ahead and hit enter. Add device. Oh, I get it. So we're supposed to actually have the device in. I was thinking this was setting. You know what? That was my bad. I don't know why I even thought it was even setting. But yeah. So let's go ahead and plug her up. And oof. Okay, I gotta do this very gently, so as not to get the wires moving. Come on, USB device.
20 minutes later.
Not gonna go there. All right, let's type it. Recovery ITB. Oh shoot, my bad. I forgot to put it back. You're right. Can I just? No, well, I thought I was gonna be able to Control Z it, but not at all. So let's go here. It didn't complain about not finding partitions, so this I love it. I love this so much. I really do. I wonder if it really should be 0, 0. You know, first device. Well, go back. I didn't mean to do that. Hit Control Z by mistake instead of Control C. First device, first partition. You know, is it that one of those? Oh my fucking goodness, Jesus! Oh Lord! All right. I'm sorry. Please don't ignore me. Okay. So just so y'all know, USB 0:0. Oh my God. All right. I know it's all right. It's all right. Ooh, and now I need to. I gotta get the cord plugged up to it. Fuck. All right, guys. So USB start, FAT load USB 0:0. This stuff here, and then just give it a short name. Do a short name of the file, Recovery ITB, right? And then the one I have forgot, boot M. Once you do that, right, then you should see it start doing all the stuff here, and then boom, right? It loads up. We are now officially in OpenWort. Let me check. Yep, see, we got a valid IP address this time around. All right, now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and now transfer the actual firmware, the actual OpenWort firmware onto the device. Where's my, and I just realized once I do this, well, actually I'll be able to plug up the router back up to the internet after the fact. let me just get this going first. 168.1.1 temp. All right. And oh yeah. So because we've connected to this router again, you know, gotta always remind you guys, right? You gotta clear your host. You can either delete the keys directly or just nuke the whole file, which I did. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Now it says that yeah, we connect. Sure we do. Warning, permanent. Yeah, sure. This would be /tmp : is not a regular file. Oh, did I mix that up? SCP Recovery.ubi. Alright, cool. That file is in there. All nice and dandy. Let me go ahead now and let's go ahead and let's get through the motion there. What does it mean? It most certainly is in there. CD/ls. First attach. Oh, I need to detach. I'm sorry. Oh god. All right, let's see if this command works. They say do ubi detach. All right, detach -m18 is detached. Okay, let's go ahead and now let's try to run through these commands here. Okay, cool. That's finally working. Let's go ahead and now run through next one, which worked without a problem. That's cool. It's all working. Nice. Now I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy that. That's done. I'm going to cat this so I can see the offset. Which offset did it be? 216. So it's OEM slot 1. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go ahead, copy the next line here. Enter there. Cool. It's not slot 2, so we leave that be. Then let's go ahead and do this one next. Whoops. Come where you go? Right here and right here. Grab the next one. Enter. Cool. And then we're going to reboot the device. Now the cool thing is that since you know, since I am still plugged up via the serial port, I think this will still like connect right to it, I think. If not, we can still always go through the USB. I mean USB. What's the word I'm looking for? The SSH through the terminal, because it should be fixed now. Which it looks like it is, because since this is rebooting the router from beginning to end, it looks like this is it coming completely back online. I don't have a purple light no more. I have a blue light. So that means that yeah. It is, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We now officially have our OpenWart router back in business. All right, guys. So I wanted to, at the end of this video, just remind everybody that it is so important to set up the USB recovery option for this Dynalink OpenWart router. So please do check out this video that I will have in the link in the description below, as well as hopefully a video card up here for how to set up the USB recovery. I promise you now that we have gone through the troubles we have, it'll literally take you just like a minute. Reboot back into the router, execute 3 lines of commands, and that's it. You'll be done. So please check it out. Give this video a thumbs up. Please comment for any suggestions and whatnot, and you guys enjoy the rest of your time.